German 40 technical analysis, and we're on the daily chart, and we can see that in regards to the daily chart, we are indeed in an upward trending market. And as far as I'm concerned, for the most part, we should be looking for potential buy opportunities. But just to zoom in, we can see that German 40 for the last couple of weeks has been very mixed. I mean, if you were to look at this area over here, we had an M structure, and then price actually went up to stop hunt all of the stop losses that were located within this region. Similarly, the market had also given us a very nice W structure over here, where we saw price actually move further down to stop hunt the stop losses that were located within that region. And just to move forward again, we can also see that currently price has given us what seems to be a very nice overextended W structure over here, which has a neckline at that point. And we can see that price broke to the upside of that neckline over here and then came back to the neckline to give it a test, as you guys can see. And where we have that neckline is where we may potentially see the market continue to move further up to around that level, in line with this level, which is where that W structure actually started, right? But what else do we see that we should be paying attention to on the daily chart of German 40? Another thing that I also want to point out is that as much as it seems as though the market is getting ready to push further up to complete this very nice overextended W structure, we may potentially actually see the market move further down to around these levels over here. Why do I say that? That is because, guys, if you were to look at this area over here, right, you would see that we have a very strong level of resistance, and that is because we had multiple rejections in and around that area, and we may actually see a situation where the market from where it is actually moves further up to around that level to give it a test, and then from there pushes further down to grab the stop losses located within this region. Why do I say there are stop losses here? That is because we have this W structure, as I had said, and you guys know that whenever we have these W structures, what normally happens is that a lot of traders and investors buy on the second leg of that W structure, and they place their stop losses just below. So there is plenty of liquidity stuck here, right, in the form of stop losses. And as I said, because the market is very much mixed, we may potentially see price from this level actually move further down to grab all of those liquidity areas. To add to this, if we were to go down to the H4 chart, on the H4 chart, we can also see that where we have this W structure, we have these two candlesticks over here, and what they are bearish candlesticks with small bodies and very long lower wicks, right? And these tell us that we have a lot of liquidity at those points. And as I usually say, liquidity is actually money that needs to be triggered by the market at one point or one another. The last reason for why I say we may potentially actually see the market move further down is that yes, we do have this neckline over here as well as this W structure, but we have an opposing structure, and that opposing structure is an overextended head and shoulders pattern over here, which has a neckline at that point. And these head and shoulders patterns are very much similar to M formations, in that in the case of M formations, ideally you want to see price breaking to the bottom side of that neckline, heading back up to the neckline to give it a test, and at that neckline is where we look for those potential sell opportunities, right? However, in the case of head and shoulders patterns, we want to see price also breaking down the bottom side of that neckline and then heading back up to the neckline to give it a test, and where we have that neckline is where we may potentially look for those sell opportunities, right? So within this area over here, as I said, we have this head and shoulders pattern which has a neckline at that point. We can see here that price broke to the bottom side of that neckline, and we may actually see price move up only to that level, which is where we have that neckline, and at that point is where we may potentially see price or the market move further down. And as I had said, guys, remember we have this W structure, and we know that a lot of traders and investors bought at this point, placing their stop losses just below. To add to that, I also spoke about how we have these two candlesticks over here that are carrying all of that liquidity. So there's a lot of money stuck there, right? And as much as I'm saying that, if I can just zoom out, we had this huge W structure, and we want to see the market actually end at that level. We may actually see price actually, as I said, move further down to grab all of those liquidity points that I spoke about, and then potentially move further up to give us this very nice W structure.